Howdy, folks. Nick Tockard here with the Historical Fencing Guild. Before we get rolling, I want to remind you the Historical Fencing Guild is brought to you by The Simple Sword and The Fighting Axe, both available through Amazon at www.amazon.com/author/Nicholas Tockard. We're also made possible by the list of amazing Patreon people who are both in the list and commenting. We have our first guy through the door at 10 minutes early. Hiya, Joe Bachman. Good to see you. Brother, it is so good to see you, so good to be seen. Don't forget to hit the like and share. Do all that good stuff. I responded to Joe while I was setting up, and I put this on. That way, if folks at home want to play the home game and follow me in another window, because you can do that. If I can run a show and keep another window up, you might want that. We have a lot to talk about this hour, and I really want to try to get going through it. So let's talk. We've got some big news, and I probably should give folks a minute or two to rattle in, but we're already a minute in. Hello, Thesis. Good evening, Sword family. Good evening to the lovely Foxy bouncing her way in, as she always does. Okay, wow. Man, you can tell, folks, I'm feeling better. I've got my radio voice on today. Of course, my headsets, I've gone through 2 or 3. They've just shorted out. It's the Nick Field. What news do we have? Well, first off, it just came across my feed that Highlander is getting a reboot with our boy Henry Cavill, however you want to say it. I've heard it both ways. Why does that matter? Foxy, the only way I can put it is this. I am an artist, and it is starting to really come back. Expect some nifty new things from me, as long as I don't overdo it. I've studied the female form extensively, and being that Elvira and Dolly Parton were my first 2 crushes at the age of 3, yes, I am certain, both with your personality and attributes, you are capable of assorted bounciness. Now, why? What? Okay. One, they say it's going to be a more grounded version. I am excited for this because that means probably no derpy alien business. Secondly, that's going to be a lot of longsword fighting. But Nick, you're not the longsword guy. I'm not the longsword guy. Absolutely, I have studied, I have examined, I have weighed and measured and found all. I love them all. I'm full spectrum of love them all. Now, good to see you, Johnny. Working on my doctorate, yeah. Don't we all, Johnny? Absolutely. Now that that's been said, and I've lost any sense of credibility, I found my hat thing. I feel so much more like me. Rocking, before we get any further, let me pull this down a second. Brand new, fresh out of the baggy Hawaiian shirt from my wife as my Valentine's Day gift. Life is good for me. Now, why am I excited about Highlander? Because, Highlander, or as Headlopper, as it was referred to by my dad, wasn't that big. Hello, Cindy Kep. All the greats are rolling in. Be sure to hit up Cindy Kep at www.ckoepp.com for all your writing on the edge needs. Wow. I'm sorry. I'm really hyped. Part of it is I got to do that extra show, and I got to do some commenting on Luke Agliata's Do You Even Read Danger Girl, which is one of my favorite titles ever. But getting back to what I was rambling about, there is a new Highlander with Henry Cavill. Anybody who's seen anything of The Witcher knows this man can handle a sword. He studies hard. I mean, I don't know if Viggo's still making movies, but I would love to see him and Viggo in a medieval buddy cop movie just hacking their way through, I don't know. But you have this. We're going to take that as a concept. We're going to put that up there. Henry Cavill. This is winning, folks. Because the ladies like Henry Cavill, and the guys either want to be like Henry Cavill or like seeing the sword fighting. Everybody wins. And if you're a guy who likes guys, second verse same as the first. And if you're ace, well, guess what? Sword fighting. Exactly. There's nothing wrong about it. The shooting is supposed to start in 2022, and I kind of buy it, just because Henry's not the kind of guy to get behind a dubious project. I do want to comment on this. I am so glad you're getting to fix your dragon. It is so terrible when people allow consignments to be damaged and people don't respect other people's goods. It's part of why I am so fanatical both about how I set up my table and who watches it and who takes part. In the past, I've been too generous, and a lot of things are going to shift. But so I'm glad. Whoops, let's see. Okay, well, okay, just saying that is what's considered hype right now. Now, why does that matter? Well, what else? We have Wheel of Time is starting to be the next big thing for sword fighting on Amazon. Now, due to content, I haven't really been able to watch a lot of it, but I'm starting to hear about the fights, and they're talking about spear fighting, which is being handled with respect. It's not just something that happens in the background between just the extras to give flavor to a scene. This is good. The other movie I am so excited to see was I don't know. Oh, let me share that. Cyrano. Oh, Cyrano. Cyrano de Bergerac, one of my favorite books. Several of my favorite movie productions have been done on that. I am a fencer, and I have been a poet at points in my life. Not so much now. Perhaps I should revisit it. But and to see, I have a big thing about scaling weapons and factoring choreography towards the fighter. And to see Peter Dinklage not just being a character actor, which, gosh, he's tremendous, but really, really heavily physical actions in this role. Not just playing off, his situation, but really getting in there. And yes, exactly. John Wick brought back the lone wolf hero in a way we really haven't seen in a long, long time. I mean, it's been a while since the Taken movies were novel. And the John Wick series is just hammering, and it's revitalized. So many people have gotten into training-based firearms use because of the John Wick movies. People are, through hearing about Keanu and hearing about John Wick, they've looked into the how to get trained and do 3-weapon events, and it's allowed more people to make that jump from guns are cool to guns involve a skill set. I would like to see that come back with fencing and swordplay. What happens is well, see, that makes sense. Hold on. There we go. Wow. Alrighty. So this is somebody who really understands fight choreography, fight logic. This is good. But I don't want to dwell on the show yet because it is a pattern. There is an ebb and flow of martial arts interest, like right after Gal. I lost the name of the movie. Blank Dragon Hidden Tiger. Oh God, my dyslexia got hold of it. Anyway, I feel like an idiot for slamming into that, but that happens. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's dyslexia, folks. I'm moving pieces around. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was one of those movies that reminded people just how awesome kung fu flicks are. And there's a hesitation, and in this community, in the martial arts community, especially the Western martial arts community, it can get so toxic about the new people who are enthusiastic. They make fun of the guys who drool on every sword because they don't know, and they treat them lesser when everybody goes through that. So we need to be more inclusive. And what's setting up is interest. Interest in what we do is being built up. A lot of YouTubers I watch are starting to feel this ramp up. And I don't even know if they put it together yet. But Shad's building up momentum. Matt Easton's doing a lot. Jill Burrup, and if I mispronounced her name, that's the speech impediment. A wonderful, wonderful channel. She does fight analysis for choreographed fights. I'm not a fight choreography guy. I've always been a reenactment kind of practical application. I've dealt and dabbled into it, but hearing why a fight looks right or wrong versus, separate from the practical sides is fascinating to me. This is important, folks, because this is going to just pull all sorts of new interest into what we do. And it might be part of what fuels the sort of things that interest you guys. So I'm hoping that I can time, and it's hard plotting this out, but time my development physically, getting my hands back and stuff, with the gear changes and setting changes I'm trying to do behind the scenes, so that come spring and summer, I can be really active. I'm working on some opportunities to push out that new content. Again, I'm going to be going back. For old fans, this is going to be old hat stuff. But I want to go from the ground up all over again, because every time I've had to go through the cycle of strength to weakness to recovery to strength, I understand it a bit more. It refines it. It's almost a tempering, forging process for my own understanding of how to teach the intro to Western martial arts. And I want to make that clear. I always make it clear, but I take the term sword master because it's not part of another organization. It was not assigned. I'm not out here saying I'm a Sifu or I'm a sensei or even maestro. These have terms in other organizations. By taking the term sword master, I was allowed to give it my own definition, which is I can teach someone the basics of how to handle a sword in a safe and fairly effective manner. That's all I'm shooting for. Now, can I help some people go beyond that? Absolutely. Do I specialize in people that maybe others have difficulty with? Certainly. But this, folks, is what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to help people. And I can feel that creep starting to come back, that sense of building, of momentum. Something is coming. And after the arc of 2020, it might be positive. And I'm going to work really hard to make once I come loose from the sort of pandemic bubble and I'm back out in the public and I'm doing more things, I want it to be more streamlined. And I'm taking this time as I heal mentally, because I literally had to rest my brain, especially recent weeks, because I did brain altering, situations as they put me on new meds and they found what was wrong. Hello. Oh, hello, Devil Flyer, Rex Christian Momentum. No, it's not that kind of creep. No, what I mean is it's the sense of impending. Yeah, well, the bubble's gonna pop, and I try to stay off politics. So but okay, yeah, you know what? But what I mean is, good things are coming. So I'm planning. I want to rebuild my the simple sword. I actually did for a while. I started doing this live stream, going through the simple sword kind of chapter by chapter, verse by verse, not stepping in on Luke Stone's territory. I leave the preaching to the professionals, but and that level of humility is why we get along. I refused several forms of address when I was in the SCA because I had not earned them. It's very careful why I have Swordmaster. Although I have been told I'm not fair, I should make that Weapons Master. because I do train axes and staves and pole arms and things. Again, just the basics. But you know what? I think somebody who's willing to teach a basic level has value. And I'm going to keep doing it as long as what I do has value to others. And it's also that being able to come at it from, and this is a very logical, when I'm talking to guys who make comics, and, you know, I'd lay money Devil Flyers, if I remember right, another comic guy. Just the hail means he's from certain communities in the world of independent comics. I've been called a lot of names, denied them for totally different. Johnny, you know what? You may be my favorite vampire, man. I got nothing but love for you. Well, maybe second or third. I have some old standing rules, but you're way up there. That being said, okay, why does that matter to us? It matters because there's going to be interest. So all you comic creators, all you writers, now is a good time. If you're going to swash a buckle in a story, or you previously had, this is the hype. You know, I say don't ride the understood entirely thesis. Anyway, don't go look at, by the time you catch a wave, it's already breaking over you. That's something Brian K. Morris, wonderful man, supporter, one of the best people I know, and one of our patrons, is always talking. Yep. So we're moving on, folks. We're just skedaddling past that for now. This is important. This is really important. So now is the time, one, because people are interested. If you are interested in learning to sword fight and you haven't been, now is the time to start looking for resources. That's why I've been putting mine up for a long time. A lot of people have been looking into this sort of thing as part of how they dealt with the pandemic. So let's get ready. Let's be ahead of the curve for a while. I'm really good at calling it, guys. And between this, writing off a bit of what happened with Song of Ice and Fire, with Game of Thrones, the time to learn Western martial arts is really good now. It was hesitant, and a lot of people weren't comfortable because it's very easy to get mistaken in why you're doing it, what's going on. So we have to be careful how we present ourselves. But this is really, I think we're coming on an era where it's going to be remembered as, hey, that's pretty cool, and it gets forgotten. Yes, Cindy Kep has two books about sword women, and I've talked to authors. I'm going to take a second to plug. I'm going to put that back up there because I want you thinking about. Oh wait, I can do this. It's my show, so I can say www.ckoep.com. Now, yes, Cindy is a Patreon member, and she's someone I consider a friend, but she doesn't pay me for advertising. Okay, she supports me because she supports what we're doing. I plug Cindy Kep for the same reason I plug Frog G, because they're great people who are doing creative things. And in Cindy Kep's case, I have never encountered someone who so thoroughly wrote out the fight choreography for anything. It was a mind-blowing adventure to be part of, just having these conversations where I was able to bounce some stuff back and forth with her. I hope I was helpful. I will tell you, it's a great joy to work at. And see, that's what we want right here. We're helping each other. That's what the guild's about, okay? This isn't a self-grandizing. I do shamelessly plug myself, because who's gonna if you don't? But that doesn't mean I'm not here for number one, or else I'd be doing this as the Nick Tucker School, you know? Like my old friend, Beards McOperator, it is super tactical extreme system. No, I'm trying to be rational, have fun, keep it light, keep it loose. So, good things to watch. Watch your sword fights with a critical eye. You can, if the fighting is good, you may learn something or have the would this work in real life? Boy, are those great conversations, because a lot of times it's balderdash. But once in a while you go, wow, where did that come from? And if it's a good fight choreographer, oh, that's Littner. This guard right here. Kendo and Littner for days. Vomtag? Yeah. Vomtag. Yeah. For your long sortie types. I'm a one-handed sortie type. Doesn't mean I can't make them go. So I'm really excited about this potential. Yes. Okay, Syndicate. Well, I'll get back to suitable arrangement and redo it. The Eastern stuff will feature to contrast the Western stuff. See, that's what I love. Syndicate has managed to hit a magical thing for me, where people of a different culture fight differently. Delightful. Whoops, there we go. Sorry. That was my hand not doing what I told it to. Not expert, but another title, but a bit of Chinese history. And that's all that's mastery. I'm going to tell you guys a secret. Mastery is not a destination. And the dream, oh man, you're living the dream. It isn't arriving at some point. It really isn't. Mastery is embracing the process. And having embraced the process so much, you're always looking at the basics with clear, understanding eyes. Always slowly refining and accepting and adapting the changes from day to day. That's where mastery comes. Okay? Mastery, perfection and championship are different than mastery. And I think that needs to be talked about more, because there are so many people, well, the master of the art is the greatest. A gold medalist has proven through the Olympic Games they're the best at whatever they're doing in the world, according to the Olympics. Now, that doesn't mean that somewhere there's a poor kid who can't outdo everything they're doing, but it means they're way up there. That doesn't necessarily mean they've achieved the kind of mastery I look for. I'm far more interested in the skills of the coach. A coach is a teacher and a practitioner at the same time. And in what we do, that's what I'm going for, and writing a textbook or 2 or 3 or more about the subject. Because I believe the only way to get better fighters, in part, is to get more of them. I believe that the martial arts, and what I teach, I sound like Cowrie. Anyway, can build people up. It can help people become better. You get stronger. You can heal through the practice of the sword. And that's, yeah, I get you sound like a paladin. That one has been thrown my way more times than I'd care to mention. And with caveats, there's some attachment to that. But yes, they are. But so much better than they used to be. Yeah. Now, part of it's acting up. I don't know if my mic, because I can't, the headsets are shorted out, are picking up the blasting wind outside. But, big but, it's so vital that we do this. And when you're learning, if you can learn from the perspective of being able to teach it to somebody else, you get so much more from anything. You want to learn art better, it takes practice, it takes precision, and that takes transmission. You have to be able to explain, because they're going to ask questions, and if you don't know the answer, you look up the answer and you learn more. That's part of why I started on my meds. But the only way, I got to put something in my hands. The only way that you're going to get better, if you do the same thing, you'll get the same results. So it's not teaching your body to do the same thing is one thing. Teaching your mind to understand why. That's where the realm of mastery is going on in. Johnny, your storm is so loud I can hear it in the background of your text. But anyway, sorry. The snark is strong today. And because of my scheduling, I've had to give up gaming on Dice Dudes and Dames. So I have to share that with you guys. Now, wow, guys, this is what's going to make us better is by taking the mental steps and understanding. That's how you get good. This is why I record. I'm going to be changing some policies. I don't know if Joe's still here, but there's going to be some notices going out on the private list for the spring as I get things going. Exactly. I did that too fast. If you always do what you did, then you always get what you got. That's true. But now, so if we're going to, let me put Knifey down for a second because now, sorry, if we're going to keep on this, keep that eye open, look at the movies, look at what people want to learn, decide if that's something you want to learn, and then pursue it. If I can help, I will help. If I can't, there's a good chance I know somebody who can. Woo! Joe's being an adult. Well, we'll talk about that because I'm going to be putting out some notice and discussions about practices and a few things because when we restart and spoiler, I'm planning to restart practices as soon as the ground is stable and I'm healthy enough to do it. There are a couple medical things I have to do first, but I still want to do it even if I can't participate. There will be a lot more, and there will be a lot of cameras because what people who watch this don't know, I don't charge my students. They have to drive now. They have to drive substantially out to me because I had to relocate, but I got to relocate. Yeah, I have a home, but so to pay for what I do is what I get from this channel. That's how I help these students face to face. That means I will be doing portions of the night where I'll still work with the people who are for medical reasons, whatever, scrimmage. But then the cameras come on, and if you're uncomfortable with that, you're welcome to leave because I have to keep my lights on a little bit. So that's going to be part of a thing. I had some people kind of abusing me being generous where things got weird, and I don't like that. Exactly. That's what I was talking about. The gym got highlighted, which doesn't happen. The Dow. Now, I do love some Dow fighting. I'm an old saber guy, deep in the recesses of my black little heart. But Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Oh, why is that name fumbling today? It's because they're spinning. I'm seeing the image of the tiger and the dragon kind of in a yin-yang, and it's spinning in my head. So keeping who's on top is a little difficult. I'm learning things about the way I think of late. It's kind of fascinating. But exposure. With Cyrano, we may see the revitalization of the fencing movie in a long time. Guess who's excited about that? What? Short fencing, guys? We do that again. Okay. I don't know if I could get that for the thumbnail on this video, but we'll see. But that being said, I'm really excited. So watch that and process what works, what doesn't, what interests you, what doesn't. Come here and we'll talk about it. Now, I want to get, because I had a couple of things I did want to talk about. Valentine's Day is coming. obviously. We have about 5 days. And it's too late to order something and get it to you. But there were some things I wanted to bring up, and I'm going to bring them up assuming I have time. That being the link that I shared at the very beginning. Let me see if it's going to let me share it again. There we go. That link is my affiliate link. Doesn't cost you anything, doesn't affect anything on your end. But if you skim through, they see the views are coming through. If you buy anything through that, it should I should get about 2%. But right you are. Right you are. But they didn't think they could show a movie like that and not use a katana and have the public do it. Yeah. Anyway. But before we get into that, we need to talk about partners in training. Now, as soon as I say partners in training, what do you guys think? Sparring partners. You think, okay, we're sparring, we're working together, parry. No. The words of my son, no, when he was very little. Training with a partner. Now, Joe is on. His wife, Trelane, and I are very old friends at this point. It doesn't feel like it, but we are. And back in the glory days of the Republic, we fought and practiced alongside I'm going to get back to that, Cindy Kepin's each other a lot. We sparred with each other. We did 2-man teams. I could fight beside that woman any day of the week, have her to my back. We can get going. And I know how to cover her. I know how she moves, so I can cover her. It was like that to a lesser extent with Jason Leto, one of my other students, and it can be like that with John Miner, actually, who I learned a lot from, at least from his heavy side. And I exchanged fair and square with the fencing stuff. But we can fight together effectively, covering each other's strengths and weaknesses. This is vital. No, I see very few channels talking about training for skirmishes or melees. I want to get in on that hard. So I'm hoping to really get down and start talking about the tactics, the mindsets of different weapon styles in tourney, how to work in not tourney. Oh, that was an expression. Me and tourney don't always get along well. Melee. And see, I'm going to skip the conversation on spiders. Not that I don't count it, but I want to keep on track. And folks, you just saw me keep an idea on track. I told you I'm doing better. And with training, you'll do even better. And that's what you want. It's not, you have to train against each other, but that can be dangerous. You want to always rotate your sparring partners as much as possible. You want to spar with people who are better than you, people who are less experienced than you, people of different fighting styles, people of different builds, different attitudes. That doesn't get talked about enough. That's why when I talk about analyzing your opponents, I talk down the attitude of how they fight, because the mentality of single long shot sniping your hit and then ghosting out of range with the rapier is identical to the guy who does it with the long jabs in boxing. Pop, 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 fade. And understanding that these mentalities work. I've seen kickboxers throw that. Oh, Johnny Cage, yeah, you're slacking. I was able to keep a thought. You should know better than this. Anyway, so we need to look at that and broaden our experience. When we are sparring, our goal is to learn about ourselves and our opponents and how these interact. The trick is to learn from all these processes and better yourself, either in your form or discard something that doesn't work. Remember, giving up something that doesn't work is as much a triumph as getting something that does. They are necessary steps. The absence of something helps shape what is. It's a concept called negative space in art, and it's very important. Understanding what shouldn't be there helps you better grasp what should. So, train with each other. One drill I love, especially if you have multiple pairs, and folks, this is a great couples game, is two heads, one life. Two-headed giant. One of you has a sword. The other has a shield or a buckler or something equivalent. You both share a life. There should be a whole lot. If you go in through and look for Nick and Trelana, you'll see a lot. There were some. We had a Tumblr channel that I don't have the password to. Sean set it up years ago. That's Sean Wright, wonderful fella. He actually did the high-res version of my boot that I use in things because I had drawn up my boot, but he did the high-res one that actually is the basis for this as a birthday gift to me. And I prize that. It's in my books, and he's actually credited as an illustrator in The Simple Sword. So, yeah, if you look, you will see. And one neat thing, if you go through my channel and you dig through the old sparring sessions, and I need to go back and organize more of them, you will see my fighting change and then come back and alter as my health and strength has risen and fallen, and with the learning. This is something I want you to think about. I'm 40 years old. I started fencing heavily when I was 20. Actually, when I was about 18. But that being said, look, getting all the way back, Trey and I fight organically. It's something to see, and it's very hard to find. Partially, we're of very similar builds, similar reaches, and I'm just a notch more aggressive usually than she is. She's just a notch more defensive than I usually am. And that makes a really neat dynamic because we know each other and we learn to pivot with each other. And you just put in the hours. So if you are a couple and you are sparring, one, train in the same system first anyway, if one isn't teaching the other, and then just put in the hours if you can. See, it's funny because people ask, well, why don't you fight? My wife was a heavy fighter for longer than I was in the SCA. Like she started several years before I was involved with that. And she's a heavy fighter. She's a pole armsman. Specializes in glaive. We didn't cross train a lot. So we can play patty cake, and we have a whole lot. But it's not often we fight on the same side. You know what I mean? It's different. And part of it is she has hip issues and leg issues, so she can't fight like she used to. A lot of that damage was done by poorly fitted armor. But it's something to see and something to train with. And Joey's come so far, and I hope he can come farther. It's a difficult thing going through the process of learning and not being so good and then getting better and getting better and getting better. And it's hard because Joey's operating outside of other things other than the Historical Fencing Guild, which for some people simply isn't enough. I've had, prior to the announcements, I had people telling me, well, we're going to go SCA or we're going to go in this group too because we want to fight more people. And my attitude was, go. Awesome. I hope you've learned stuff here. You're always welcome here. But get out there, do stuff. If there's something you can help them. If you can learn something, learn it. You learn something cool, you best be bringing it back to the old me, Unky Nick would love that good stuff. But let's see. we got some comments that I don't want to lose side by side. That was me catching. One of my trying skills is the echo game. One person hits a different surface, says well the other and needs to hit the same surface. Interesting in the same order. Those are interesting challenges. You'll put together a more formal breakdown. I'd like to see how that breaks down. Yeah. Okay. See, there's a bad habit of Trey and I grinding the newbies to see how they handle. There's always a point where you have to see how somebody handles multiple opponents, and we had a lot of fun playing with Joey back in the day. Sorry, a little big gum there. Let's see. I do it pretty well. I bet you do. So work on it. If you can share your videos, do so. If you're doing something instructional, set it up. Share what you know. Be willing to deal with the that's interesting. Isn't it fascinating how limitations alter how we do things? I have been completely deaf in one ear and partially deaf in the other, and vice versa. Vision issues galore. So yeah, it's interesting how you adapt. I look forward to seeing it and breaking it down for its merit. It could be fascinating. We have done blind sparring. I've done blind fighting. I have turned. Oh my! Well, that's good to know. That's okay. That's okay. I respect not wanting it to be on camera. My problem was I had people who didn't want to be on camera, but would find ways to get on camera or be loud in the background. So I'd have to take down my videos for their privacy. Or there were some other complications where it was this yes, no kind of thing. And unfortunately, if you walk into the background around a fight that's going on and you're seen in the background when you've been told it's going, it's a different thing. Absolutely. Push hands. I used to do push hands with John Minor, which is a bit like Hagrid and Harry Potter doing push hands. I got a little warm in there for a second. Oh wow. I'm looking nice. My hair is nice. My shirt is nice. I'm looking nice. Anyway, bonus points to anyone who catches that. Train with each other. That's because you overthink about what you're seeing. Now, let me see, because I saw some things I wanted to share with you guys, and I need to see if I can see if I can find what I wanted to share. And I admit I had a little bit of the shoot. Boom. How does that work? Anyway, I'm having some problems finding it, but they do sell sets with a book and and trainers, paired trainers. These are wonderful. You can find individual master sets like that on martialartsmart.com. You can also find similar on Wooden Swords, Purple Heart Armory. Let's see if that's good. Yes, I can share that. And what I'm talking about is this. If you're looking, I've seen these and I was thinking especially about Foxy and thesis. These are wonderful deals for learning, um, functional weapons at a great price. And I really like this because it's actually, you're basically getting the book for free. I also like that it mentions focus fencing. And I'm tempted to acquire that book just to get the side on focus fencing, as I don't think he's made a focus trainer yet. But deals like this, when you have a training partner you can go into together and you can learn, and with something like this, you can actually, you're studying the same material, you're using the same weapon, you can work through and really get that collegiate study buddy mindset. And I think that's something we all need. Let me see. Can I make this bigger? Yes, that looks good. So I'm really thinking, folks, this is something that is worth considering if you're looking for other kits. Now, let me just do this. Boink. Okay. And yes, they do it better. Blind. Yep. Tai Chi ball can be done partnered if you have good flow. Yes. I will be honest right now, my flow in something like Tai Chi, it's different. I don't really trust a lot of how I'm moving and what I can resist. So I have a long ways to go. But as you can see, I do my drills every single day. I do those goofy hand exercises every single day. And it's not fun, but you do it because that's what you need. And as I get sort of my periphery in shape, I'm working towards getting my core in shape. Most of the time, you work out from the core to the periphery, but that's where I got to go where the damage is. And until I had my hands straight, I couldn't support, and my legs settled down, I couldn't hold myself up. Now, there's a reason my cane is sitting right here in reach with a spare in case I drop it, so that I can get up after I've been sitting for about an hour. Because that's the other side. I've got about an hour or so of sit in me before it becomes really uncomfortable. That's okay. That's me adapting. And that's what we want. We want to stay adapting. Okay? We want to get ourselves built up. But you can't build up on a loose foundation. If you don't know what's under you, it will crumble. So it's so very vital to build up from zero. And I'm not saying you have to be at zero, but you have to find where your zero line is as you understand it and build up. Life will adjust where your zero line is. But that's okay too. That's part of growing and understanding. So I hope that perspective is helpful. Sword Sage also has a couple videos with me. One, I will always lament the one that got away, but one is a very his commentary is delightfully interesting when watching the Mr. Fix-It video. And I would love, Sword Sage, if you're watching this, old friend, hit me up. I would love to, if you are ever back in the land of corn again, we got to get together and spar. I know you're on the far west coast where the air is clean and the views are beautiful and the fish are tasty, but man, do I miss you. And that's the trick. Don't overdo it. Always leave yourself wiggle room. But yeah, my family has this thing about keep charging the enemy as long as there is life. And we take that sort of thing very seriously. Perhaps I have in the past done so to detriment of myself. My wife right now is totally unaware of this conversation, but she's probably scowling at me through the wall. Well deserved, mind you. However, we have the capacity to find it and get better. And the thing is, you got to remember your opponent is the you that's on the couch. Okay? So there's that. Now I do want to talk about something. I got some Ask Me Anything videos, questions sent to me that didn't come in time for the video. They got confused as today. One was, Nick, sometimes you chew gum. Why is that? I'll be honest. I have malformed drainage tubes in my ears. They can get blocked when sudden pressure changes, and I can actually be rendered deaf. That's why I went deaf, why I learned a little bit of sign language. Not a lot. I was actually learning from Carolina because I had gone completely deaf in one ear and the other ear was going, and they couldn't tell me why. Part of it is actually neurological too. So it's one of those I have to keep track of and prepare to deal with. But chewing helps keep that it works the stuff out. It's kind of unpleasant, but that's why I do it. And Foxy goes, keeps your mouth wet while talking too. And that's true too, because I dry out very easily due to some of the other situations I have. So I hope that answers your question. Another question I got was, you were talking big knives, and you're talking the Rambo knife and the FE9, which I still love. But what happened to the big knife you got earlier? It's a big, and I had to message them, go back and forth. Oh no. Oh no. No. That can't be on the floor. Anyhow, my wax seal. They were talking about this guy. This is the Shroud Priscilla. Beautiful name for a weapon. The knife itself is glorious. It is very weighty, which for a fencery motion, not very happy, but it flows. That was the sheath falling. It flows delightfully. This is very sharp, but the balance is superb. I have heard some dubious quality issues. Some people had trouble, but they were doing the test to destruction. And for the applications in which I purchased this would be totally sufficient. And for the more destructive purposes, I'd just buy a cheap machete and understand that if I have a problem with it, I'll let it go. But this is a very nice, it's a bushel sword. It's a great weapon. The sheath is so close to perfect. Like, design-wise, it could have been amazing. I had some problems with it. The way the strapping works, if you're not careful, you slice, and I'll put it there. Drawing it slices the strap. This is very kind of dubious plastic. I think Shroud cut corners on this plastic that they did not need to do. So someday I will probably make myself a fancy leather sheath for this, or something similar. I just haven't quite decided how I want it to work yet. Still, I count this as a delightful weapon, and I'm actually going to be using it in a literary project of mine that I'm tinkering with when I get back to writing for fun, so to speak. They think they are getting fed in the hunger. Yeah, I understand that too. That's why I have to balance out how much. I also used to be the guy who had a hard candy in the side of my mouth all the time. Because one, I was diabetic and didn't know it, and two, it gave me something it was very focusing. But that had dental problems, so now I have sugar-free gum in moderation when I need it. Let me think. Oh no. Let's see. I'll follow that. Boom, boom, Boom. Oh, fairly soon. Drawing live requires my hands to be working, and I haven't quite figured out the time slot with my new schedule because I went from being a night guy to being a morning guy. So I may be doing a live drawing on my other channel, the Nick Talker channel, which I don't ever really show you guys much because it's been a little inactive lately. But let me come here. And I will go to get the link. I have one of those names, folks, that YouTube. Here we go. Boom. Copy. And it will probably be on a Wednesday, and it will probably be morning-ish. Maybe sooner. I really need to. It's just figuring. My last stylus broke, so I'm waiting for some new styluses to come in. But I shared the link in the comments for my art channel. That's where I show. I do live draws. I do commentary. I love to do here, Nick, draw something, and I just do it. That's actually why I was setting up the whiteboard, because I used to do whiteboard drawings, because when I was a substitute teacher and an art instructor in some after-school programs, I did a lot of art on the whiteboard, and kids love it. I do programs for libraries that way, basic cartoon and art instruction, real anime flair. So yeah, thank you so much, actually, for bringing that up, Johnny. Real soon, and when I know, I'll be doing some. I'll put out announcements pretty much like I did this, where I flood everywhere. Okay, we have about 3 more minutes, so I do want to thank you guys for coming out. Are there any last minute questions? Anything I need to cover? Thesis, I am fully capable of making that happen. Johnny can do it better. Johnny's a more talented artist than I am. I'll put that on the table right now. But I do. One of my bucket list items is I want to do a graphic novel of some sort in the near future. And CityCap, thank you for always being kind, and I will. I will, but I also want to make sure you guys get your full hour dose of me. So, no comment. But wow, woman or not, have you watched Vox Machina yet? Arrangements can be made. Stranger things have happened. I don't know if that's this channel. I want to do some animation. I have I will be contacting Joe Bachman, actually, and a few others to play test the new version of Big Stompy Robots, which is my tabletop tactics game. Think classic BattleTech if you didn't have to fill out Scantrons to play it. A very light, very fast game. Because my passions are creating, gaming, and sword fighting. Or dangerous phrasing, dangerous phrasing, Foxy. What have I done? You done stepped in it, my friend. You done stepped in it. Some of us, hey, you know what? I could drive a stick shift, and I have no problem with curves. I was going over 100 miles an hour in a British Roadster before I was 1. But that's another story for another time. Yeah, I think so, because I think it was a TR4, TR6. Have to ask the old man. Might have been an Aston Martin. Anyway, Not the rich kind, the poor broke roadster kind, but I still have a passion for small light roadsters that go fast and handle well. Folks, that's the hour mark, so I'm going to say thank you so much for coming out. I hope you had fun. Artistic things are coming from me from the other channel. Please subscribe there. I have like 100 less subscribers over there, so please shoot over there. I'm going to do new stuff with big stompy robots as well. I want to do some stop motion live action craziness. That's why I'm scattered. I'm doing a whole lot of things at once, so all the progression bars are filling very slowly, and then they'll break like a tide, and it'll be awesome. Keep your eyes out to Luke Stone Studios. Luke Stone also has a Indiegogo for volumes 1 through 3 of Hybrids, Sons of Gods. You will see I created for him, before I went down, Hybrids of Sons of Gods, the role-playing game. This is the quick play edition. He's working on the full core rulebook as we speak. And as Luke, God bless you, Luke, and be with you as you heal. Be sure to keep an eye out for that. The Historical Fencing Guild is also always made possible to you by the Simple Sword and the Fighting Axe, both available at bargain prices on Amazon.com at www.amazon.com/author/Nicholas Tucker. It's in the ticker. And made possible by my there's no words to define how much I love my Patreon members. You guys, you literally help me keep the lights on. I couldn't do this without you. I'm upgrading some gear in the future. They get a weekly Patreon exclusive blog, Cybertacto. It's a pay to play thing. If you want to know what's coming up in the weeks ahead, right now it's kind of small, but a lot's building. Get it. I'm also, as Patreon allows, I will be doing some Patreon only exclusive training videos, taking video requests, and basically just that next level where they'll get it first and then they'll vote who gets what when, as well as they get the secret link to my pre-recorded videos far earlier than you guys do. I haven't done a lot of them lately, but they're coming back with a vengeance. So, folks, be good to each other. Keep your guard up. You know what? Be kind to yourself and each other. And as always, support your local swordmaster. Night all.